Hey there, fellow Planeswalkers, it's Steve for CollectorMania. We're continuing on with our Commander Brawl series. Today we're focusing on Kumena, Tyrant of Orazca. Probably one of the best Merfolk commanders that have been printed thus far. So Kumena is a 2/4 legendary Merfolk Shaman. It's colorless, a green and a blue. It's got 3 abilities on it. You can tap another untapped Merfolk you control. Kumena, Tyrant of Orazca can't be blocked this turn, so unblockable commander. You can tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control, draw a card, really powerful. Then you can tap 5 untapped Merfolk you control, put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk you control. So a great way to buff the entire team, especially like the turn before yours, just buff all your guys and then swing out. Could be really, really powerful. So we will break into our creatures here. First up, we've got a Jade Bearer. So this card essentially is just a placeholder for a lower cost creature. It's a green, 1/1. Whenever your Jade Bearer enters the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on another target Merfolk you control. So we can buff our commander or really anybody with this. Like I said, I really just want to play this creature early. That way we have a ton of Merfolk on the battlefield to activate all of Kumena's abilities. Now I've got Kumena Speakers, so a green once again, 1/1 Merfolk Shaman. Gets a +1/+1 counter as long as you control another Merfolk or an island. So great little guy, buffs himself basically. So we're almost always going to have an island or another Merfolk on the board. They've got a Mistcloaked Herald, so 1/1 for 1 blue, Merfolk Warrior. Mistcloaked Herald can't be blocked, so same kind of deal as the other two. Just get him out there. And they've got a Deeproot Champion, so a colorless and a green. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Deeproot Champion. It's also a 1/1. As we go through this, you'll start to notice there is a pretty strong +1/+1 counter theme, so this guy works perfect into what we're trying to do. Then we've got a Deeproot Elite, so a colorless and a green, 1/1 Merfolk Warrior. Whenever another Merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target Merfolk you control. This, to me, is probably one of our most powerful pieces, because if you think about it, we could buff any one of our creatures with this, especially our commander, because you know we can just tap him, make him unblockable, and swing out. It's pretty powerful. Then we've got our one and only Lord, because we don't have the access of the last 25 years of Magic like we normally do. So a green and a blue 2/2 Merfolk Shaman. Other Merfolk you control get +1/+1. Not bad at all. Then we've got a River Sneak, so can't be blocked. Once again, 1/1 for 2. Whenever another Merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, River Sneak gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Then we've got Silver Gill Adept, so this is a colorless and a blue Merfolk Wizard. As an additional cost to cast Silver Gill, reveal a Merfolk card from your hand or pay 3 additional mana. Whenever Silver Gill Adept enters the battlefield, draw a card. So, just a good card draw for us. We're most likely going to have another Merfolk in our hand to reveal and just, you know, get the extra value off this card. Then we've got a Jade Light Ranger. So, this is going to be one of the ones that's a little harder to attain. I know it's pretty expensive because it's played a lot of places in Standard, but worked great in the deck. Colorless, 2 green, 2/1. When Jade Light Ranger enters the battlefield, it explores, then it explores again. So pretty powerful. Then we've got a Jungle-Born Pioneer. So 2 colorless and a green, Merfolk Scout. When it enters, it gives you a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. Then we've got Kapala, Warden of Waves. So this is basically a pseudo-lord. It's going to give all of our Merfolk a little bit of protection, you know, make them a little bit harder to target. It's really just a powerhouse. If I was going mono blue, this would definitely be the commander, but since we have access to green, it definitely helps. But yeah, overall, amazing addition. I would love to play both these guys together. If like there was a possibility to do like partners, these would be insane together. And I've got Shapers of Nature, so as I said before, we've got a pretty strong +1/+1 counter theme, and this just kind of adds to that. So it's 1 colorless, a green and a blue, 3/3 Merfolk Shaman. 2 activated abilities. It's got 3 colorless and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Or 2 colorless and a blue, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control. Draw a card. So just a really powerful draw engine, plus a way to buff all of our creatures, and there's a lot of benefits +1/+1 counters. Then we've got a Swift Warden. This is more a little bit of protection for our commander for the most part. So a colorless 2 green, 3/3, has flash. When Swift Warden enters the battlefield, target Merfolk you control gains hexproof until end of turn. So, like I said, just a little trick for ourselves. And then we've got a Forerunner of the Herald. So this is 3 colorless and a green, Merfolk Scout, 3/2. Essentially, we're using this card to tutor a merfolk to the top of our library. And then whenever another merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on forward of the heralds. So, not only a great tutor piece, but also a creature that just makes itself stronger. Really powerful card in this deck. And I've got Herald of Secret Streams, and this is one of our big benefits for running so much +1/+1 counter synergy. So 3 colorless and a blue, Merfolk Warrior, 2/3. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counter on them can't be blocked. So, once again, yeah, that just means we can just run over everybody and just destroy them. Then we got a Jade Guardian. So 3 colorless and a green, 2/2, hexproof. Enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target merfolk you control. Then we got a Riverwise Augur. So 3 colorless and a green, Merfolk Wizard, 2/2. When Riverwise Augur enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. So it's kind of like a brainstorm plus a creature, so how can that be bad in any way, really? And I've got a Seafloor Oracle. So 2 colors, 2 blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/3. Whenever a merfolk you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Extremely powerful. Even with just Kumena itself and this card, you can just tap this guy to give Kumena unblockable and then just swing, deal a little bit of damage, and draw a card all the time. Really, really strong. I've got a Tempest Scholar, so 2 colors, 2 blue, Merfolk Wizard, 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls. So if we don't really have our unblockable engine online, we can just tap somebody out completely with their creatures and just swing at them without recourse again. Then we got a Walker of the Wilds. So 2 colors, 2 green, Merfolk Shaman, 3/3. You can pay X and 2 green, put a +1/+1 counter on target land you control. That land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste. It is still a land. So, great way to late game turn some of our extra lands into creatures and just start swinging with them, especially if we have the Herald out there and makes it all unblockable. That's pretty powerful. Then we've got a Windstrider, so 4 colors and a blue, flash flying. Just a flying merfolk, always good to have. And I've got Tishana, Voice of Thunder. So this is our other option in Brawl to actually use as a merfolk commander. I obviously think Kumena is a way better choice, but you could definitely make Tishana work. So 5 colors, a green and a blue, legendary creature merfolk shaman. It's got star for power and toughness. Tishana, Voice of Thunder's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size. When Tishana enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control. So really powerful draw engine, really just powerful card overall. So moving on to our artifact here, we've got Vanquisher's Banner. We are running tribal decks, so this is a great include. So 5 colorless, as Vanquisher's Banner enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, so we're going to choose Merfolk, of course. Creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1, so just a good anthem effect. Whenever you cast a spell or a spell of the chosen type, draw a card. So that's what we're really after here. So basically cast a dude, draw a card, cast a dude, draw a card, yeah. And then we have the Immortal Sun. So 6 colorless, legendary artifact. It has players can't activate Planeswalker loyalty abilities. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card. Spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast. Creatures you control get +1/+1. So really, what isn't this card doing for us? I mean, really, it does everything. I think it's going to be really powerful, especially in a deck that doesn't run any Planeswalkers, and that's us for sure. We're really just using this to draw cards and get an anthem effect. So yeah, overall, amazing. Breaking into our enchantments here, we've got a Deeproot Waters. So 2 colorless and a blue. Whenever you cast a merfolk spell, create a 1/1 blue merfolk creature token with hexproof. Great way to build our army, really. And then we've got a Aquatic Incursion. So 3 colorless and a blue enchantment. When Aquatic Incursion enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 blue merfolk creatures with hexproof. Then it has an activated ability. 3 colorless and a blue, target merfolk you control can't be blocked this turn. And then we've got our instant speed spells. We've got a Dramatic Reversal, so a colorless and a blue. Untap all non-land permanents you control. Really powerful with Kumena. I mean, if we have, I don't know, what, 6 merfolk out, we can draw 2 cards and then cast a spell, untap all of them, and do combat or whatever else we want to do with them. So yeah, auto include. We've got Haze of Pollen. I found playing Kumena and Commander, sometimes we unfortunately do leave ourselves open with the amount of tapping that we have to do, and sometimes it has to be before combat and all that stuff. So yeah, sometimes we just have a board that's completely open and people can just swing at us, so having a fog spell is really great, especially one that we can cycle away if we don't need it. And then Heroic Intervention, so a colorless and a green. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So board wipes are going to be the bane of our existence, so having a card like this in our library is amazing. It'll get us out of a lot of really bad situations. Then we've got good old Negate, so a colorless and a blue. Counter target non-creature spell. That's essentially all we need it to do. It's perfect. We've got Pull from Tomorrow, so X and 2 blue, draw X cards, then discard a card, so just good card draw. Slice and Twain, a little bit of removal, so 2 colorless, 2 green, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then draw a card. And then we've got Reason to Believe, so this is a 2-part spell, so we've got the top side is 1 blue, sorcery, scry 3, which is basically why I'm running the card. I think that's powerful enough. And then the other side, Cast from the Graveyard, we've got Believe, so 4 colors and a green. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it onto the battlefield if it's a creature card. If you don't, put it into your hand. So, not really a great effect for our deck. Most of our creatures are pretty easy to cast. But I mean, reveal a Tishana off of that might be enough. And I've got Wildest Dreams, so XX and a green. Return X target cards from your graveyard to your hand. XL Wildest Dreams. Just a great recursion spell. And I've got Harvest Season, so 2 colors and a green. Search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of tapped creatures you control, and put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So this is actually pretty powerful for us. If you think about it, we can tap all of our creatures with Kumena's abilities instead of like relying on combat, so that's pretty good, especially for a card like this that kind of restricts most decks. And really for us, it's just extra benefit. They've got Secrets of the Golden City. I've been trying this out in more and more decks, and I absolutely love it. It's basically just draw 3 cards, especially in a deck like this where we have a ton of small creatures. Then we've got River's Rebuke, so 4 colors, 2 green, or 2 blue, sorry. Sorcery, return all non-land permanents target player controls to their owner's hand. So a great way to really just kind of screw up the biggest threat on the board and then hopefully draw attention away from ourselves while they're attacking them. And then we're getting into our lands here. We've got Arch of Orazca, so it's got Ascend, so City's Blessing again, have 10 permanents. Tap and add a colors to your mana pool, or pay 5, draw a card, activate this ability only if you control, or you have the City's Blessing. Then we've got Botanical Sanctum, so this is a fast land, works great, has both of our colors, one of the only dual lands we really have access to. And then Evolving Wilds, of course, a little bit of mana fixing. Field of Ruin, a little bit of land destruction. Unclaimed Territory, one of the best cards for a tribal deck, and it definitely fits in here. And Woodland Stream, I think our second dual land that we have access to, which works perfect. And then of course some forests and some islands. And after the lands, I kind of wanted to talk about a few Dominaria cards that are coming up for us. So we've got 2 blue, Merfolk Wizard. Merfolk Trickster is the name of the card, 2/2, flash. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, it loses all abilities until end of turn. So, just a cool trick, really. I love the artwork on this card, though. It's beautiful. Now we've got a Blink of an Eye, so 1 colorless and a blue. Kicker, 1 colorless and a blue. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If this spell was kicked, draw a card. Just some interesting removal. Then we've got Song of Release, so a colorless and a green. It's a saga, so it's got 3 abilities on it. So, number 1 and 2, until your next turn, creatures you control gain tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, which is really cool. And then 3, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible until end of turn. So, this is basically our best overrun effect that I could find. It's pretty powerful with the deck. Then we've got Sentinel of the Pearl Trident, so 4 colors and a blue, Merfolk Soldier, 3/3, flash. When Sentinel of the Pearl Trident enters the battlefield, you may exile target historic permanent you control. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So if you think about this as a way to save our commander from like a board wipe, or just bounce our Tishana, or anything like that. So it's actually a great include, and can't wait to throw it in here. And I believe that is it. Oh, no, sorry. Another addition that we're going to get here is Hinterland Harbor. So just a great way to buff our mana, you know, like make casting a little bit easier. And that is it, yeah. So anyway, once again, I hope you guys are enjoying these Brawl Deck techs, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.